first part of Scrappy and Chaotic TV, you came to my mama's house at my daughter's birthday party, where Erica and my mama, everybody liked to watch. You came over there with all your little cameras and stuff like that, and we made it. We said this is our first episode. This for our first episode. Not only he do that, he kept everywhere I was at. He right there filming me doing all this shit because he had to use me to get it up there. That's why it's up there now, because I was there. I was present. Now, when it came to my kids, I can't be there for you, homie. I can't be there when you making plans because you ain't got no kids. You ain't got no kids. So you gonna goddamn go and do whatever you gotta do, up, jump, and run.
Scrappy is fighting for his life tonight, and the entire hip-hop world is holding its breath. What was supposed to be a calm night surrounded by family turned into a scene straight out of a nightmare. Sirens lit up the streets of Atlanta as Scrappy was rushed into the ICU unresponsive, pale, and barely clinging to consciousness. Witnesses say he collapsed without warning. No heartbeat, no movement, just chaos, panic, and desperate screams for help. When Mama D arrived, her reaction shook the entire hospital. She pushed past nurses, shouting for answers, demanding someone save her son as doctors fought to bring him back from the edge. But the shock didn't stop there because minutes later, Bambi showed up, and the tension between her and Mama D erupted right in the waiting room. While monitors screamed inside Scrappy's ICU room, the two women who loved him most nearly collided in a raw, painful confrontation. And then the unthinkable. The alarm blared. Scrappy flatlined. Doctors raced in. Mama D collapsed. Bambi broke down. Fans flooded social media with prayers. And all we know right now is this. Scrappy is alive, but just barely. Before the flashing lights, the frantic 911 calls, the shouting in the hospital hallways, and the life-or-death fight inside the ICU, there was a long, painful road that brought Lil Scrappy to this breaking point. A road filled with years of trauma, heartbreak, stress, and emotional wounds the world never truly saw. Scrappy has always been the tough one, the resilient one. The fighter who survived the streets, the music industry, broken relationships, court battles, financial setbacks, and the pressure of living his life on national television. Fans saw the laughs, the chaos, the turn-up moments on Love and hip-hop. But they didn't see the nights when Scrappy was mentally drained, physically exhausted, or silently battling demons. They didn't see the toll of childhood trauma growing up in survival mode, raised by Mama D's fierce but chaotic love, pushed into manhood before he even understood what it meant. They didn't see how years of toxic relationships, breakups, reconciliations, and custody wars slowly chipped away at his peace. They didn't see the pressure of trying to co-parent under the bright, unforgiving spotlight of reality TV, where every mistake becomes a meme, every argument a trending topic, and every moment a vulnerability entertainment for millions. And in the middle of all of that was his roller coaster relationship with Bambi. Fiery love one moment, explosive arguments the next, then separation, then attempts to fix things for the kids. Their love story was always loud, emotional, and never simple. Bambi cried over him, fought for him, fought with him, defended him, left him, came back, and tried to build a peaceful life with him only for old wounds and unresolved trauma to pull them apart again. Mama D, on the other hand, has always been Scrappy's protector. Sometimes overprotective, sometimes messy, sometimes dramatic, but always fiercely loyal. Her love is loud, volatile, overwhelming at times, but rooted in fear. Fear of losing her son the way she's lost so many others to the streets, to bad choices, to life. Scrappy struggled with that pressure, too, being pulled between a mother who never let go and a wife who needed him to stand on his own. Meanwhile, he kept trying to hold himself together, to be a father, a provider, a business owner, an entertainer. Even as stress piled up quietly behind closed doors, fans never knew half of what he carried. His accident years ago left physical injuries he never fully recovered from. Fame brought money, but also enemies, anxiety, and expectations. He battled depression publicly, admitting he felt alone, even when surrounded by people. He battled exhaustion touring and filming nonstop just to keep his life stable. He battled heartbreak from his mother, his partners, and himself. Recently, things began to spiral again. Scrappy was arguing publicly with friends, struggling through emotional moments on social media, dropping hints that he wasn't okay. Behind the scenes, he was overwhelmed by co-parenting challenges, family tension, financial pressure, and physical health issues he could no longer ignore. Those close to him say he'd been working nonstop, barely sleeping, and trying to juggle everything at once. They say he complained about feeling weak, dizzy, and not like himself. But he brushed it off because that's what Scrappy does. He pushes through pain until his body forces him to stop. And sadly, that's exactly what happened. His collapse didn't come out of nowhere. It came from years of carrying too much, suppressing too much, fighting too many battles alone. His family had seen the cracks, but they never realized how deep they went not until the night they found him unresponsive. And that's why Mama D broke down at the hospital door. Not just because she feared losing her son, but because deep down she knew he had been suffering in silence for a very long time. That's also why Bambi rushed and shaking. Not just because they share children, but because love doesn't disappear when a marriage ends. She knows Scrappy's heart better than most, and watching him fight for his life hit her harder than she ever expected. Both women carry guilt. Both carry regrets. Both have said things they wish they could take back. But in that hospital, none of it mattered. The drama faded. The arguments died. All that remained was fear, raw, suffocating fear, and the realization that Scrappy had been running on empty long before his body finally shut down. Now the world is learning that behind every celebrity, every storyline, every tough exterior, there is a human being who can break. The real chaos began the moment Scrappy hit that ICU bed. That's when the truth about the past few weeks started unraveling like a thread nobody realized had already been pulled too far. Because while fans thought Scrappy was recovering, posting positivity, smiling through the pain, insisting he was fine, the reality was far darker and far more dangerous than anyone outside his inner circle knew. People close to him had been worried for days. He wasn't sleeping, barely eating, stressing nonstop over personal issues, quietly struggling with breathing problems and chest pain he kept brushing off. He told friends he'd push through it, told Mama D he was fine, told his kids everything was okay. But behind the scenes, he was collapsing emotionally and physically under the weight of everything hitting him at once. Relationship tension, family disagreements, financial pressure, public drama, and health issues he refused to slow down for. The breaking point came the night he collapsed. Scrappy was allegedly in the middle of a heated argument with someone close to him, so intense and emotionally draining that friends say he suddenly went silent, clutched his chest, and fell. And that's where the story gets messy. People in the room can't even agree on what happened. Some say he fainted. Others say he stopped breathing before he hit the floor. One insider says he complained all day about dizziness and numbness, but refused to go to the hospital. Another claims he had just ended an emotional phone call about co-parenting drama. There's even a rumor he had been overworking filming content, managing businesses, juggling parenting, and trying to keep up his public image while ignoring clear medical warning signs. Whatever the truth, panic hit instantly. People were screaming his name, shaking him, trying desperately to wake him. When he didn't respond, someone dialed 911. The terror in the operator's voice says everything. They were guiding them through CPR while everyone in the room tried not to fall apart. By the time paramedics arrived, Scrappy was unresponsive. No pulse, no movement, no reaction. EMTs worked on him right there on the living room floor before rushing him out on a stretcher, oxygen mask strapped to his face, tubes already being inserted. And then the first major twist hit. Scrappy wasn't alone when he arrived at the hospital. Both Bambi and Mama D were notified, but not by each other. Sources claim Bambi was contacted first, not Mama D. And when Mama D found out that Bambi knew before she did, something in her snapped. The anger wasn't hatred, it was fear. Fear of being pushed out of her own son's crisis. So when she stormed into the hospital and came face to face with Bambi, all that fear exploded into accusations. Where were you? Why did you get the call before me? Why didn't you tell me my baby was dying? The waiting room erupted. Family members shouting. Nurses stepping in. Security watching from the corners because they knew exactly who they were dealing with. Bambi, shaking and crying, insisted she wasn't hiding anything. She was only notified because someone from Scrappy's team called her. She said she rushed over praying he wasn't gone. But Mama D wasn't listening. She felt betrayed, blindsided, cut out. And for a moment, it almost turned physical. Meanwhile, Scrappy was coding inside the ICU. His heart stopping. The electrocardiogram spiking flat. Doctors fighting to bring him back, while the two most important women in his life were fighting each other. And the twist deepens. Someone close to Scrappy says that just hours before the collapse, He was dealing with a severe panic attack triggered by stress involving both sides of his family, unresolved issues with Bambi, tension with Mama D, co-parenting frustrations, and pressure to keep performing, keep working, keep being scrappy for everyone. They say he told a friend, "If I stop, everything stops. I gotta keep going." Those words haunt everyone now. And then came another revelation one Mama D allegedly shared privately before it leaked online. Scrappy had been ignoring doctors' orders for weeks. He was told to avoid stress, avoid overexertion, avoid late nights, and return for more tests he never scheduled. He thought he was strong enough to push through anything until his body proved him wrong. Now Scrappy lies unconscious, hooked to machines, breathing tubes, and monitors. Doctors say his collapse wasn't caused by one thing but by many: exhaustion, stress, dehydration, heart strain, and possibly an underlying medical condition no one knew about. The situation is so complex that doctors can't promise anything. They don't know how long he was without oxygen. They don't know how his heart will respond. They don't know if he'll fully stabilize or crash again. They don't know whether he's strong enough to recover. And while the world prays and posts hashtags, Mama D and Bambi are left facing the same truth. Scrappy wasn't just tired, he was drowning. And nobody saw it until it was almost too late. As night turned into early morning, the hospital grew heavier and colder. Nurses rushed in and out of the ICU with tight expressions, saying only, "We're doing everything we can." That did nothing but increase the panic. Mama D paced like a lioness, muttering prayers between angry curses. Bambi sat frozen, hands pressed to her face, still shaking from seeing Scrappy flatline. Then came another twist. A hospital social worker walked into the waiting room with a clipboard and asked, "Which one of you is legally authorized to make medical decisions for Daryl Richardson?" The room froze. Mama D stepped forward immediately. "I'm his mother." But Bambi rose too, eyes swollen from crying. "We're still legally married," she said quietly. "I'm still his wife." The room exploded. Mama D shouted that Bambi abandoned him. Bambi fired back that she still loved him and had every right to protect him. Security intervened. The social worker stepped back, realizing she'd just dropped a bomb. And then another shock hit. Scrappy's sister stepped in and revealed something nobody else knew. Scrappy had filled out an emergency contact 4 months earlier. The primary contact wasn't Mama D, wasn't Bambi. It was his daughter's mother, Erica Dixon. Phones started ringing. Voices rose. Mama D nearly collapsed again, this time from pure shock. Why Erica? Why didn't he tell anyone? Why didn't he update the paperwork? Why didn't he trust his wife or his mother? And then the second major twist shattered the room. Erica Dixon, silent all night, walked into the hospital. No makeup. Hoodie on. Eyes red from crying. Hands shaking. She rushed to the front desk and said, voice cracking,